China has lashed out at the developed world's largest emitters of greenhouse gases for setting themselves what it called unremarkable and even deceptive targets for cuts. China has been pushing hard for a strong commitment from developed countries at the international climate talks in Copenhagen. But Su Wei, the head of the Chinese delegation, singled out the U.S., the EU, and Japan for criticism on Tuesday. Speaking at a news conference on the sidelines of the summit, Su said the U.S., the second largest emitter, had set a goal that was not notable, the EU's target was not enough, and Japan had set impossible preconditions on its commitment. Last month, China announced a 45% cut in carbon intensity by 2020, the first time it set specific targets for cutting carbon emissions. 2 days into the talks in the Danish capital, long-running North-South rifts have dampened hopes of reaching a robust global agreement among the 192 nations represented at the summit. China said it hopes the dialogue between the United States and North Korea will revive the stalled Korean nuclear talks. Foreign Ministry spokesman Jiang Yu said Beijing backed the U.S.-North Korean talks and expects the discussions to lead to a restarting of the six-party talks. Jiang's comments coincided with U.S. President Barack Obama's special envoy to North Korea, Stephen Bosworth's arrival in Pyongyang on Tuesday. It is the first visit to North Korea by a representative of the Obama administration. Bosworth's 3-day trip is widely expected to concentrate on persuading the DPRK back to the six-party nuclear talks. He will travel to Beijing later this week. Figures from China's National Bureau of Statistics show average housing prices in 70 major cities rose by 3.9% in October compared to the same period in 2008. It was the sharpest monthly growth for 14 months. According to one realty company, the cost of an average home in Shanghai shot up almost 38% between February and October. And in Beijing, house prices were up almost 10% month on month. Rumors that the state banking regulator will call an end to favorable mortgage policies have fueled the rush to buy. China made and sold record 12 million vehicles in the first 11 months of this year. Official industry figures show the country is now the world's largest auto market. And the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers said sales and production of vehicles for the whole year were both expected to top 13 million units. China's total car sales outstripped those of the United States for the first time in January, helped by government efforts to stimulate domestic consumption. Last year, a record total of 9.4 million vehicles were sold in China, up 8% from the previous year. BlackBerry cell phone services will soon be available to individual customers in China for the first time. The handheld devices made by Canadian company Research in Motion have previously only been available in China to employees of a few major companies. Workers at smaller firms will now be able to access a BlackBerry, long a mainstay of Western business users. China has about 650 million cell phone subscribers. Research in Motion will provide its BlackBerry device in partnership with China Mobile, which dominates the market with 513 million subscribers. The firm will be keen to catch up with iPhone, which has already made inroads into the China market following its launch last month. And finally, the rise of China as an economic superpower was the most read news story of the past decade, surpassing the Iraq War and the attacks of September 11th. That's according to an analysis by U.S.-based media tracking group. The Global Language Monitor uses an algorithm to search printed and electronic media and the internet for trends in word usage. The list was based on the number of citations over the course of the decade on the internet, the blogosphere, including social media, as well as the top 50,000 print and electronic media sites. The China story topped news about the 2003 Iraq War, the September 11, 2001 attacks, the ensuing war on terror, and the sudden death this year of Michael Jackson at the age of 50. And that's the BON headlines for now, but we'll be back with more news after this.